Hello and welcome again. Welcome to class 185. I'm looking at a picture of Inez Garcia. She's attractive. She doesn't look talkative to me. Does she look talkative to you? Talkative means parlanchina. Hablando, muy habladora. Does she look talkative to you? All right. It's interesting because as I told you, tal y como te dije, dos letritas, AS, tal y como te dije ayer, o te conté ayer. As I told you yesterday, Inez Garcia had a traffic accident. Yeah. She was driving her car, which is a Ford Puma. She was driving her car through the narrow streets of Central Seville. And she wasn't paying attention. She wasn't paying attention. Why? Why wasn't Inez paying attention? Because she was breaking the law. Incumpliendo la ley. Se dice en inglés quebrando la ley. Break, bam, rompiendo. She was breaking the law. How was she breaking the law? She was talking on her cell phone. She was talking on her mobile telephone while she was driving. And that's against the law in Spain. That's against the law. It's not legal to talk on your cell phone or your mobile phone while you're driving your car. But she was doing it. She didn't think the police would see her. And the police didn't see her. The police didn't catch her. No. But fate caught her. El destino la pilló. Fate caught her. Fate, escrito fate. Fate caught her because she was talking. Who was she talking to? She was talking to her boyfriend. Ah, yeah. Now I remember. But I don't remember. What's her boyfriend's name? Her boyfriend's name is Paco. Oh, Paco. Is Paco a normal Spanish name? Well, Paco's a normal Spanish nickname. Yeah, but what does it come from? It comes from Francisco. Ah, so Paco is a nickname of Francisco. Yes. And in Mexico? No, in Mexico, no. Pancho is a nickname of Francisco. Ah, so Pancho Villa, the famous Pancho Villa was Francisco Villa. That's right. Frank Villa. Well, okay. Yes, Francisco Pancho Villa. But here we're not talking about Pancho Villa. We're talking about Paco. Well, we're not talking about Paco either. Paco is Inez's boyfriend. Will she be her boyfriend in 1 month? Probably not. Thanks to this accident. So she was driving along in my automobile. Hello, Paco, how are you doing? And she was talking to Paco and driving, steering. Steer is manejar, o sea, usar el volante. Steering the car with one hand and talking with Paco. She was not using the hands-free. She wasn't using the hands-free. Good. Hi, Paco. Yes. No, she was holding the telephone in her left hand. She was holding it to her ear. And she was listening to Paco. And he was saying something interesting or funny, apparently. And she wasn't paying attention. She was paying attention to Paco. She wasn't paying attention to the traffic. And there was a stop sign. And she continued driving. She ran the stop sign. And then, boom, she was hit. Voz pasiva. Fue golpeada. Otro coche. Voz activa. Another car, bam, hit her on the passenger side. Not on the driver's side. On the passenger side. Was she hurt? Who? Inez. Inez. Was she hurt? Was she injured? No, she wasn't. Who was driving the other car? Francois Monet was driving the other car. Was he hurt? Excuse me. Was he hurt? Was he injured? Ambos significan en este caso lesionados. Hurt también puede ser perjudicado. O sea, tiene otros usos. Hurt. Dañado, pero lesionado. No, he wasn't hurt. He wasn't hurt. Was Inés surprised? Of course, she was surprised. Was Paco surprised? I don't know. Was Pierre Monet, Pierre, Pierre antes? Francois. Was Francois surprised? Of course. He was driving. He was driving out of the parking garage of the car rental agency, la agencia de alquiler. Out of the parking lot, onto the street, boom! And so, yeah. But was it a serious accident? No, it wasn't a serious accident. Why wasn't it? Why wasn't it a serious accident? ¿Por qué no fue? It wasn't a serious accident for two reasons. Really? Yeah. What was the first reason? The first reason was that the two cars, Inés and Francois weren't driving fast. Excuse me? They weren't? Weren't. No, weren't. No se dice weren't, se dice weren't. They weren't driving fast. Inés wasn't driving fast, and Francois wasn't driving fast. Neither one of them was driving fast. Neither Inés nor Francois. Neither Inés nor Francois was driving fast. Both of them were driving slowly, more or less. They were both, dos formas de decirlo. Ambos conducían despacio. They were both driving slowly, or both of them were driving slowly. Neither of them was driving fast. That's the first reason why the accident wasn't serious. And what was the second reason? Well, the second reason that the accident wasn't serious was because the two cars were small. One car was a Ford Puma, and the other car was an Opel Corsa. Yeah, small cars. Yes. So it wasn't a serious accident. Okay. And what did Inés do? What did Inés do after the accident? Well, she cut her conversation with Paco. Well, did she say goodbye to Paco? I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. Well, come on. What do you think? Did she say goodbye to Paco or not? Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. All right. And then what did she do? When? What did she do after cutting the conversation with Paco? After cutting the conversation, yes. What did she do? Yes, what did she do? She got out of her car. Really? Why did she get out of her car? Well, I suppose she got out of her car to go to the other car. Okay. And did Francois get out of his car too? Not yet. Not initially, no. So who got out of their car first? Inés or Francois? Inés got out of her car before Francois got out of his. Okay. So Inés got out of her car, right? Yes. What did she do? She walked to the other car. How far was it? I don't know. 5 meters maybe. I don't know. And did she say something to Francois, to the other driver? No, she didn't say anything because Francois was sitting in his car. Maybe he was a bit shaken up. And the window was closed, the car window. So she didn't say anything. Well, did she see him? Did she look at him? Yes, she looked at him. And what did she see? Well, she saw Francois. Okay, good, yes, but what did she notice? Well, she noticed that Francois was young, like her, maybe the same age. Yes. What else did she notice? Let's see. Well, was she happy to see that Francois was young? Yes, she was happy to see that the other driver was a young person like her. She was relieved. She was what? She was relieved. How do you spell relieved? Relieved. O sea, con el relieve del terreno. Bueno, no. Sin embargo, sí. Bueno, what does relieved mean? Relieved means aliviada, en este caso. Aliviado, aliviada. She was relieved. Relief, con F, relief, has two meanings. Alivio. What a relief. Qué alivio. En inglés decimos que un alivio. What a relief. But relief también es el relieve de la orografía de una zona. The relief. So, she was relieved to see that the other driver was young like her. Okay? And did Francois finally get out of the car? Yes. When he saw Inés, he got out of his car. Who spoke first? Aquí no hay verbo auxiliar. ¿Quién habló el primero? Who spoke first? Porque el sujeto es who. Cuando el sujeto es who o what, realmente no hay sujeto todavía. No hay ningún sujeto identificado a quien auxiliar o prestar auxilio. No auxiliary verb. Who spoke first? Inés or Francois? Francois spoke first. Did he speak to Inés or to himself? He spoke to Inés. Oh, what did he say? He said hello. Did he say hello in English? No, he didn't. Well, did he say hello in French? No, he didn't. Well, what language did he say hello in? Preposición al final. Precolocación, como digo. He said hello in Spanish. Did he say hello with a perfect Spanish accent? No, he didn't. He said hello with a French accent. Hola, 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 hola. I don't know. Je suis François. Hola, hola. All right. So he said hello with a French accent. And what did Inés say? She didn't say anything. Why not? Why didn't she say anything? Because she was too impressed. Impressed? Imprimida? No, impresionada. Impressed. Así es impresionado. Yes, impressed. Why was she impressed? Because she wasn't expecting an Adonis in front of her. She wasn't expecting a tall, blonde, handsome man, young man, saying, hola, hola. And so she didn't say anything. But is it true? Es verdad que, is it true that Inés is a talkative person? Yes, it's true that Inés is a talkative person. And she didn't say anything. No, she didn't say anything. Why not? Well, I told you, because she was momentarily mute. Muda. She was momentarily mute. Escrito mute. She was momentarily silent. She didn't know what to say. She wasn't expecting this person, to meet this person in the center of Seville. She wasn't expecting, no esperaba. No estaba dentro de sus expectativas y sus planes, sus previsiones. She wasn't expecting to meet a person like Francois Monet saying hola to her after a traffic accident. Well, finally, who spoke? Well, Francois spoke. What did he say after saying hola? Well, he waited for about 5 seconds or 10 seconds. And Inés, what was Inés doing? She was looking at him. But she wasn't saying anything. So he decided to say something. And what did he say? He said, we need to do our paperwork. I remember. No recuerdo. A ver? All right. Inés simply looked at him and didn't say anything. He was tall and very attractive. He seemed like, parecía una persona muy agradable. Escucha, he seemed like, parecía como una persona en inglés. He seemed like a very pleasant, pleasant, escrito, pronunciado pleasant, es agradable. He seemed like a very pleasant person. Inés usually talks a lot. La L en talk, igual que en walk, es muda. Talk, walk, walk, talk. She usually talks a lot. But this time, she didn't. Why didn't she? Because she didn't know what to say. No sabía qué decir. She didn't know what to say. And what did Francois say? Well, he asked her if she had her papers, her car papers, los papeles del coche, car papers. He asked her. He ¿qué? Asked her. Oh, he asked her. Correct. He asked her. Asked her. Así lo digo yo. He asked her. Y todo el mundo. He asked her if she had her car papers. And what did she say? I think, well, according to this, según esto, according to this, she didn't say anything. She turned around and went back to her car and got the papers. Where did she get the papers? She got the papers in her car. Yeah, but where in her car? Well, probably in the glove compartment. The what? Glove, guantes, no? Glove compartment. El compartimento de guantes. Ah, la guantera. In Spanish you say guantera, de guantes. In English we say compartimiento de guantes. Why? Because 80 years ago, many people wore gloves. Many years ago, many drivers wore gloves when they were driving. Like Mario Andretti, they wore gloves. When I came to Spain in 1972, I hitchhiked around Spain. And many drivers on these little boxy cars just put on gloves to drive. So the glove compartment. So she probably got the car papers from, procedente de, sacándolos de, from the glove compartment in her car. But her car was damaged. She couldn't open the passenger door. She had to open the driver door and then open the glove compartment to get the papers, All right. And did they do the paperwork? Yes, they did. Did they really do the paperwork? Yes, they did. Outside. It wasn't raining. Okay. How long did it take them to finish the paperwork? Well, I think they finished the paperwork in 10 minutes, about 10 minutes. They finished the paperwork in about 10 minutes. So it took them 10 minutes to finish the paperwork. And after that, and then, did they go their separate ways? Excuse me. And then, did they go their separate ways? No, they didn't. What did they do? Well, Francois made a suggestion. Really? Yes, Francois made a suggestion. What did he suggest? Francois, yes. Well, he suggested, tercera columna de los regulares, he suggested they have a coffee at a coffee shop. Oh, yeah, a cafeteria. Yes, a coffee shop. Where was the coffee shop? It was across the street. Ah, so the coffee shop wasn't on the same side of the street as the accident. No. The coffee shop was on the opposite side of the street. The coffee shop was across the street. And did Inés say yes or no? About what? Well, about the invitation. You told me that Francois invited her to have a coffee. Well, he suggested a coffee. Is that an invitation? Well, here it says he invited her, Richard. Well, oh yeah. Well, what's the difference? He suggested, he invited. It's an indirect way of invite. Okay, yeah, you win. Okay, you're right. You're right. The young Frenchman, el joven francés, whose name was Francois Monet, invited her to have a coffee in a coffee shop across the street. Al otro lado de la calle se dice across the street, or opposite. Yes. Did she accept or reject his invitation? Come on. She accepted. And then what did she do? She turned off, she disconnected her mobile phone. And the cars? Well, they moved the cars to the curb. Curb is el bordillo. They moved the, no problem, with the cars. They could still drive the cars, no problem. Okay. And what happened after that? Oh, you're going to have to continue the method and buy the book. If you don't have the book, you can't follow the story. The story continues about Francois and Inés and Paris and Seville in Peugeot too. The company Peugeot, the car company, is also involved in this. And Inés's legal abilities as well. Her abilities as a lawyer. So yesterday Inés had a traffic accident. It happened at about 5:45 p.m. when she was driving to the University of Seville for an evening course in business management and finance. The accident was her fault. The accident was her fault, not Francois' fault. She was driving her car, a Ford Puma, through the narrow streets in the center of Seville. At the same time, she was talking with Paco, her boyfriend, on her mobile telephone. She was listening to her boyfriend and didn't notice a stop sign in front of her, delante. She ran the stop sign and another car hit her on the passenger side. Fortunately, it was a small car too, an Opel Corsa. And as a result, the accident wasn't serious. Inés cut her phone conversation and got out of the car. She went to the other car to speak to the driver. She was happy to see that the other driver was a young man, probably the same age as her. When she got out of the car, when he got out of the car, he smiled and said hello in Spanish, but with a French accent. Inés simply looked at him and didn't say anything. He was tall and attractive. He seemed like a very pleasant person. Inés usually talks a lot, but this time she didn't know what to say. The young man asked her if she had her car papers, and she went back to the car and got them. All right? They did the paperwork, and they finished the paperwork in 10 minutes, in about 10 minutes. And then Francois invited her to have a coffee. He invited her to have a coffee in a coffee shop on the other side of the street. He invited her to have a coffee across the street in a coffee shop opposite the accident. So that's how the story started. See you tomorrow.